guys, King Lagerfeld here, back with another video reaction. And today we're going to be doing a video by Casual Geographic. This one is The Terrifying Truth About Chimps. Now, chimps are a very intimidating species. They are very smart. They can form like groups and alliances and gangs. They can build tools. And I think they can use sign language to communicate. So chimps are very intelligent, which is kind of cool, but also kind of intimidating. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this Casual Geographic video and see what facts he has about chimps. Let's get into it and see.
One of the world's scariest animals just got a whole lot scarier, and Planet of the Apes is slowly becoming non-fiction. Because apparently chimpanzees are out here murking gorillas.
Oh my!
Scientists in 2021
I thought gorillas would be more strong.
Gorillas. And when I say gang, we're talking about almost 30 chimps pressing a family of 5.
30
Keep in mind,
chimps?
a silverback can weigh up to 400 pounds. It could probably bench
my
press
goodness,
a car.
they are.
And according to witnesses,
wow.
the silverback was eating chimps left and right like they were paper mache. But eventually the chimps overwhelmed the bigger silverback and even kidnapped a baby gorilla. I'm not going to tell you exactly what they did, but that family of 5 became a party of 4.
Oh.
And it wasn't even the last time, because later that year, scientists watched the same group of chimpanzees do the same exact thing. Square up with a family of gorillas, kidnapped a baby, and erase its name from the gorilla census.
Dang,
and it's not like we didn't know chimps were about
chimps
that.
are psycho.
They often hunt bush babies and vervet monkeys.
That
and
is
even
crazy.
See them use weapons like spears to do it. But it's one thing to hunt something that weighs like 5 Skittles. Going gorillas is another tier of Black Air Force activity. Which is why I'd rather be locked in a room with a jaguar than a chimp. Because at least a jaguar gonna make it quick. That's exactly right. Chimpanzees have been known to hunt using spears, and the way they do it is not pretty. So what you gotta remember is these sociopaths share about 98% of their DNA with us, and they have more in common with humans than just thumbs.
Wow.
They're part of the special class of animals that can create and use tools, and chimps are probably the best.
They share 98% of human DNA?
Fishing for termites. They'll use
That
stones
is
as hammers to
crazy.
crack
Wow.
open nuts, and it's actually a lot harder than it looks. They'll use leaves as sponges to drink water, sticks to steal honey from bees. Some have even been seen making and using stone flakes, which are really close to what early humans
Why are they this smart?
But yeah, chimps
That's
also use
scary.
spears by breaking off a stick, sharpening one end with their teeth, and then shoving it into the hollow part of a tree trunk. Because they know
How
that's
can they
what bush
do
babies
that?
is.
Like, seriously?
Scientists watched them stab bush babies and force them out of their hiding spot in trees, where they proceeded to tear them apart and eat them alive. So they don't actually yeet the spear the way a lot of people probably thought, but they're definitely too smart for everyone else's good. Also, fun fact, out of all the animals I've talked about, a chimp was probably
way
close to
too
ending
smart.
my entire way of life. But that's a story for another video. Alright, so here's a story of how a chimpanzee nearly ended my entire way of life. So this was in Senegal, that little country right there. I was visiting for a couple months, and me and some family decided to go to a zoo.
Is this a
that,
personal
looking back,
story?
Was way too run down to be called an actual zoo. The only thing separating the chimps from the general public were prison bars that were wide enough to stick your hand through. And before you even think it, no, I did not stick my hand into the chimp cage. I was 7, but I wasn't stupid. Now, if you wanted to see stupid, you'd have to look at the people around us. But some of them thought it'd be funny to throw things inside the chimp enclosure. Not to like hurt it, but I guess to scare it. Either way, nobody
would you want to make it mad?
Especially when someone started tossing rocks in there.
Why would you want to make a chimp mad?
I just remember watching the chimpanzee just sit there and take
it's gonna spaz.
until the people ran out of rocks. It wasn't until the chimpanzee started picking the rocks up that the people realized just what they did. They just gave an animal with thumbs and no regard for anything human.
A bunch of weapons.
So yeah, as you'd expect, the chimp started fastballing the stones back at the crowd, and all we could do was run and take cover. And I vividly remember crouching behind a bench, and when I got up, a rock flew past not more than 4 inches past my right eye. I was really just bad luck away from either doing this video with a glass eye or not doing this video at all. Look, you can say size matters all you want, but 4 inches made a difference that day. This picture might look cute, but it's actually one of the most disturbing things you'll ever see. I'm about to tell you one of the most messed up stories you've never heard of. So this guy, Dr. Kellogg, had the question I'm sure all of us have had at least once. What would happen if you raised a human without teaching it a language or having it around any other humans? Like a nature versus nurture kind of thing. It's one thing to think it, it's another to be on CPS's watch list. So this guy had a human son, Donald, that he raised with a female chimpanzee he adopted named Gua. So he treated 10-month-old Donald and 7-month-old Gua the same in ways that would have had CPS, PETA, and the Geneva Convention pulling up. The experiment was weird. He would tap on both of their heads with a spoon just to hear the differences in the sound of their skulls. He would purposely make loud noises and provoke them just to see who would react.
This is not science.
At one point, he even spun Donald around on a high chair until he started crying. It got really dark
human child as a human.
Especially when the human Donald started acting like his surrogate chimp sister, walking on all fours, being overly aggressive, and even biting people. It's a shame the Pikachu meme didn't exist back then. Donald would bark like Gua when he wanted food and refused to walk on 2 feet even though he could. Eventually, the man who somehow graduated with a doctorate in psychology from Columbia realized that he was ruining his son. So he called the experiment off. The chimpanzee that they treated like a daughter and was part of their family, yeah, they packed her up and sent her away to be part of another experiment, where she was unalive by pneumonia a few months later. As for Donald, he grew to be an adult and eventually became a doctor,
didn't even care
until
about
he deleted himself at the age of 42. And to add insult to whatever seasoned hell this was supposed to be, if you go over to Dr. Kellogg's Wikipedia, he was described as a guy who had no tolerance for those who were unethical. Moral of this video, Thanos should start a GoFundMe. I'm starting to think he was onto something. Some stories just make you want to go off the grid and avoid humanity completely. And while that may not be an option for you with NordVPN,
your child killed himself, and the chimp went to another experiment.
NordVPN creates encrypted tunnels for your data and protects your identity by hiding your IP address. Like a snow leopard in the mountains, you can observe the world without having to worry about being tracked yourself. I'm not going to tell you where he is. If you haven't seen him by now, just know you've already died twice. NordVPN allows you to connect to thousands of different servers. If you want to watch SpongeBob on Netflix but can't because America loves to gatekeep, just know Australia Netflix will gladly accept you. With NordVPN, you get all the perks of living in the land down under without also having to pay taxes to kangaroos. And without having to check your snakes for toilets. Do you have any idea how dangerous toilets are? Then you never have to feel like you're giving up speed for security. And with NordVPN's threat protection, you can enjoy your online experience with whatever that may be, I really don't judge, without also having to worry about ads, trackers, or malware. So to protect your data and get the most out of your streaming service, make sure you go to nordvpn.com/casualgeographic to score a huge discount available only for a limited time. And with Nord's money back guarantee, it's basically risk-free. You want to know what's not risk-free? Having a chimpanzee as a pet. Oh, trust me, this is going somewhere. After this ad though. Here's why you should never give a chimpanzee Xanax. Sounds like common sense, but apparently it's not that common. Travis was a 13-year-old, 200-pound walking life lesson that lived with his owners in Stamford, Connecticut. He spent his entire life around people and was basically treated as one of them. He would do things like use the family computer, watch baseball on TV, he knew how to open doors with keys, and sometimes he'd drink wine out of a glass after a long day.
Wine?
Everyone knew him, and he would even
Who gives a chimp wine?
You would see them around in the neighborhood. I want you to remember.
You're asking for trouble.
Travis even drove a car, and he did it more than once. It's like if this dude was an actual member of society. Now, what would happen in 2009 wasn't out of nowhere. The red flags were there. He once climbed out of his owner's car and held up traffic for hours looking for a man that threw an empty bottle at the car. And there was one incident where Travis bit a woman's hand and tried to drag her into a car.
Oh my
but
goodness,
none of that was
what?
as bad as 09. I'm not going to make any jokes because this was honestly one of the most traumatizing things I've ever seen. Because one day in 2009, Travis left the house with his owner's keys and the owner and her friend Charlotte Nash tried to get him back. The only problem was Nash used his Tickle Me Elmo to try to bribe him back into the house. And seeing someone else hold his Elmo pissed Travis all the way off. Travis brutally mauled Nash, tearing out her face and limbs and not even stopping when his owner hit him over the head with a shovel. And as the attack got worse, his owner had no choice but to literally stab him in the back.
What?
And a literal butcher knife to the back only made Travis angrier. Eventually police were called. Yeah, the same police from earlier. It took multiple bullets just to get Travis to stand down. Travis limped back to the house, went to his cage, and passed away. The victim survived the attack, but Travis had ripped over 90% of her face off, like lips, eyes, nose, they were all gone. And I am telling you right now, do not Google that if you have a weak stomach. Those pictures personally f***ed me up for days when I first saw it. At the time, we didn't really know what set Travis off. Some sources said it was because Charlotte Nash was holding his Elmo. Others say it was because Nash had a different hairstyle that day, and that freaked him out. But a toxicology report confirmed that Travis the chimpanzee had Xanax-laced tea the day of the attack. Travis's owner obviously got sued, but then she died of an aneurysm just a year later, which is bad for everyone involved. But at the end of the day, the lesson here is the chimpanzee never went crazy. The chimp just went chimp. This man was attacked by an animal with a name that might just get me canceled. This is the work of Trombiculidae. But they're also known as guidelines you better not homie.
The chimp took off 90%
a word that
of
sounds
her
like it has the
face?
potential to offend multiple ethnicities. Not to be confused with a species of parasitic flea known as jiggers. And honestly, I don't know what sounds worse. Chiggers, or Chiggas, which is apparently less offensive.
Jiggers?
It's a type of mite found all throughout the world, but the most infamous ones are found in the southeastern US, Midwest, and Mexico.
Kinda sus,
Low-key
but
forgot the
alright.
warning, so if you don't like bugs, this might not be the video for you. Cause Chiggas don't really bite. They'll actually just burrow themselves into your skin, make a little hole, and then spit out enzymes that break down skin cells. Which is exactly where the swelling and irritation comes from. The worst part is, you usually don't start itching until after the larvae falls off you. It's like you're not allowed to suffer until they're done with you. And once they are, they fall to the ground where they end up becoming their harmless adult forms. And normally the bumps they leave heal on their own. Also, the Chiggas in North America usually don't carry disease, they're just really annoying to be around. But yeah, I can't tell you who named them, but I can tell you they did not have a good home life. And I feel like someone owes me reparations for making me say it. So somebody sent me this, and I actually think there's a right answer here, but first, I'm actually curious. Which one would you choose? Like, which one do you think you'd have the best shot with? Off rip, we can go ahead and eliminate the rhino. For a couple reasons. Rhinos have really bad eyesight and even worse anxiety. Mostly because they have to share a zip code with animals that would literally eat them balls
Which
first.
one would I rather...
Life is multiple choice, and rhinos consistently choose battery. So if this anxiety-riddled warhorse has a panic attack near you, you will be a chalk outline. The Komodo's an instant game over too. Because Komodos don't flatline their prey with bacteria the way we thought they would.
Yeah, I'm scared of big lizards.
And they've been known to dig out human
creepy.
graves and eat the corpses, so don't think you can't get meal prep too. One bite and it's credits, and there's nowhere near farm you can go and this 10-foot leather assault weapon can't get
Look
to.
at these Komodo
Now, the jaguar
dragons.
is actually an interesting one. Jaguar attacks on people are really rare. They're usually in self-defense. So you'd actually have a better chance of surviving in a room with a jaguar as long as you don't provoke it or do anything to make him think you're food. However, jags are solitary, and in a one-bedroom apartment, if that jaguar feels like you're in space, it could be lights out. Which is why your best shot is actually with the gorilla. They're natural pacifists that won't waste the calories attacking something that they don't view as an immediate threat to them. So as long as you don't look him in the eye or smile at him, unless you're trying to be Harambe's roommate, your best chance at winning and, you know,
I guess gorilla.
is with the gorilla. I want to show y'all something. So I made a video on this, and a lot of people are commenting how they choose the Komodo since all they'd have to do is climb a counter, just wait there for 37 minutes. Some even said they can manhandle the leather assault weapon if they needed to. I'm not going to talk about how Komodos can be nearly 10 feet long. I'm not going to mention the fact that young Komodos can climb trees. And I'm certainly not going to acknowledge the fact that out of all the animals here, Komodos are the only ones that will actively eat humans. Nah, I'm not going to talk about any of that. Instead, I'm going to show you this.
This is literally my nightmare.
No further.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, completely. Yeah, Komodo dragons will be my last choice. But yeah, maybe the gorilla or the what else was it? The jaguar. But between those two, I would choose to be my roommate in order to not die in order to survive. But these chimps, like I said in the beginning, they're intelligent just like us. Like you said, they share about 90 or 98% of our DNA. So I mean, they're very human-like in their interactions, in their emotions, and the stuff that they can do. They can, like you said, they can build tools. They can create gangs. I mean, that's very human-like. I mean, we do both of those things, so it's very concerning that they can do that as well. I mean, that lady getting 90% of her face ripped off by a chimp. That is, oh my, that is horrific. I'm not doing any animals. And even certain dogs I might not do. Animals are very tricky. They're way too powerful. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, be blessed, be your best, and keep down the stress. Bye guys.